There is a very specific name, and I'm not sure. And this is not me predicting the future or saying that he has had conversations with anybody or that anything is even in the works. But there's a very specific name that I would love to see come back to Appalachian State and be a head coach for us, and that's DJ Smith. Not sure how much you guys know about DJ Smith and his background, having played for us, been All-American at Appalachian State, also played football at Green Bay where he was a coach's assistant there, and then also has a couple years of football coaching experience at the collegiate level himself. DJ, he's now with Eli Drinkowitz down in Missouri, helping coach the defense there. So a couple things. This would obviously be a culture hire, right? It would be, again, this is not me forecasting or foreshadowing anything. I'm not saying that he's had conversations. I'm not saying that I've had conversations with him regarding where this should go. This is me doing what I do in my mind, right? Which is hope, right? This is all hope. But I think DJ Smith would be the right hire for a couple reasons. One, first of all, he's younger than I am. So he can relate to this new age type of football, right? College football. Two, he's got the experience. He's played there. He understands it. And not just there, he's played at Green Bay, and also he's coached on a very high level at Mizzou. Mizzou's done really well these past couple of years on Eli Drinkowitz, who I'm not a fan of how he left Appalachian State, but certainly a fan of the way he coaches football, what we did while he was there, and then also what he's doing now at Mizzou. So can coach very well. He's coaching under some very good leadership. So he would understand the talent that we have. He would understand how to coach football. And secondarily, I think he's smart enough to put people in positions that would help him in terms of offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and making sure that I think he can hire a staff around him. He is, to me, what Deion said. Now, on a smaller scale, please don't misplace what I'm saying. On a smaller scale, he is what Deion Sanders was or is to Colorado. Not so much I can coach every position and I know so much about X's and O's, and not that Deion doesn't, but Deion also understands how to put the right people around him, and he can go out and recruit and do the leadership part of it. I think DJ Smith, with less aura, obviously, would be able to kind of cultivate that into that App State territory. So would love to see it. And I think that would be, for me, a nice culture fit for Appalachian State moving forward.
Yeah. Simulated Sports Project says he'd love to see DJ as well. Had not heard his name mentioned until today, but he is a pretty decent pick. So I sent that in our group chat earlier this week at some point, before I even consulted back and forth with you at all. My reasoning is pretty much all the stuff you've said, but also a few other things. So position coach, co-defensive coordinator, recruiting coordinator. That is a thing that we are not talking about enough, right?
Yeah,
he had experience with recruiting in this day and age, right? We've talked about some guys like Steve Wilkes.
That goes to my point. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They're going to be able to recruit because of their professionalism for so many years, but that means nothing when they have experience with these kids who they probably don't connect to because of the age gap as much. Marv and I talked about it on the wrap-up show on Monday night, and it's kind of like a funny thing, but it's got to be true. And like, I know this dealing with people of different age groups that I work with. When he said it, it resonated with me. Marv said he probably knows the lyrics to all their favorite songs. That's such a simplistic thing, but you don't realize how much that could help him connect to the youth that he is trying to bring into this program. He can talk their language in a sense that a 60-something-year-old guy who's been around forever and just thinks that, showing the ring that he won, a natty many years ago or some type of thing like a Mac Brown, it's nice. Does it resonate with a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid? To me, I'm saying no, right? Like, that's fine. That's along what you said earlier, TJ. Your dad wants you to go play for that kind of guy. Who do you want to go play for as a young kid? Give me DJ Smith all damn day.
Well, but to that point though, DJ Smith is both. He's
True.
both. You know, he has the NFL experience. He knows what it takes to get there, right? And look at the landscape right now. I mean, even in the NFL, you got Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan's son, right? That Shanahan tree is thick. You got Sean McVay, Mike McDaniels. All these guys are in their 30s.
Yes.
They're younger than me. I'll be 38 on Sunday. These guys are younger than I am, coaching NFL guys who make way more money than they do.
Right.
But they understand, they know all the lyrics to their songs, right? You know, Deion Sanders, who now he's a bit of an anomaly because he's young at heart, but Deion Sanders is cut from that same cloth, right? He understands what it's like to be. He's got young kids, so it's a very he's so to speak up on game, if I can use that terminology. I don't know if kids are still using that these days, but he gets it, right. So it's one of those things where it's when I talk about culture hire, that is a culture hire for multiple reasons. He has the experience recruiting. He played the game at a very high level. He also played the game at App State. He knows what it's like. He knows all of the chants that we do. He knows what winning football looks like at Appalachian State. And also, he can speak these kids' language. He understands it. He's not far removed from having been in their shoes before. He knows what it's like to be recruited, to want to go, to be under-recruited. A kid out of Charlotte who, you know, in my opinion, should not have been at Appalachian State. You know, I say that same thing about Jock Roman. I say that same thing about Dexter Jackson, Amani Edwards. These are guys that Appalachian State should not have gotten, but they did get them. And they know what it's like to be under-recruited. They know what it's like to have to come in and prove a point and play with a chip on your shoulder. Guys like that are guys that are going to help your football team. Is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be a night and day kind of thing? Probably not. Is it going to take them a year or two with transfers and all that thing to kind of rebuild what we've lost, so to speak? No, but he is a kind of guy that once you start playing for him, because he's so hard-nosed, because he's done it, because he knows it, you're going to want to stay and play for him, and that transfer portal is going to cut real small and boom.
Yeah.
That's my spiel.
Yeah. Well, here's another little aspect. It's kind of along the same lines, but I haven't really said it out loud. He was on the last national championship team, so he's got that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And part of my statement is going to actually be asking you a question. How much more instantaneously would you feel connected to the university and the team you used to play for than having somebody like that was involved in that, truly knows and understands what that was, what that means to come back and now not only be a part of the program, but run the damn program? Like,
bro, his number's in my phone. I can call him now if I want to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's how connected I would feel.
I've heard Leonard say he didn't feel connected once he left, right? They didn't really reach out. There's no besides y'all's individual camaraderie, there's nothing from the university that keeps you connected, that keeps you wanting to come back up the mountain and watch games, unless they're good, obviously, which App State has been, luckily. But to me, the instantaneous amount of pride and joy I would have if he was named head coach would be unmatched. There isn't another name out there that would get me as excited as DJ Smith. I'm just
100%.
telling 100%. People that right now.
I deal with another sub 500 season, because it probably will be that, right? If we're just being realistic with him having to rebuild, I deal with that knowing that DJ Smith is next in line, because it's coming. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
You know, and so I know also that if there's a couple kids in my area that I know that are really, really good, I can text DJ and say, hey, look, here's some game film, man. I don't know if you need a linebacker. I don't know if you need a receiver. I don't know if you need this, but here's some game film this guy gave me. Take it for what it's worth. And I know that it'll be looked at.
Yeah. In Simulated Sports Project saying again, I've been saying this coaching search will be crucial because this is App State's coaching response to and it's true. This is their real first tried and true one, because Sean was kind of named head coach before this really all changed in the landscape. It was kind of evolving as he was taking that head coaching gig, but this was the first tried and true one during, everything that's been going on, and it'll continue to evolve. It's not going to stay the same, as we know. Things are always fluid. But I also, and this is a much lesser point, but still something that I think is important. Would he not be the first black head coach at App State?
I think he would be.
There's another thing, right? I mean, Deion's bringing in kids
in a town like
because-
Boone, it matters.
He, as simple as it is, he looks more like you. Like the understanding there is probably going to be a benefit, right? Like if I walk in, let's just be honest. They're gonna be like, "What's this guy gonna tell me?"
Right?
Right?
Like, what's he gonna do? Jim Harbaugh me? Spend the night at my house?
It's not to offend anybody, but that's just the plain and simple thing.
I mean, listen, it is what it is, right? Your skilled players and your guys like that, they want to be around people who look like them, who understand. Why do you think Mike Tomlin always has skill players that are elite? Mike Tomlin can speak the language, right? And that's not saying that other coaches don't do it and aren't good at it, right? I mean, Jim Harbaugh just left Michigan and had a phenomenal season. You know what I mean? Won a national championship. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. Your nationality or your background shouldn't matter as much as it does, but representation matters. And it's not a whole lot of head coaches that look like us. Right. And so it matters to us where we want to go play football. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep. If you have options.
I mean, I've heard the statement before, sad but true, like, if you were of color and in the town of Boone, people would approach you and ask you if you played football, basketball, or ran track. That's 100%. Sad, right? Like
I went through that specifically.
Yes,
there was outside of basketball, football players, it was like 12 black people.
Right. Yeah. So that's something that would change for the better, like you said, across the board. Just a more inviting place in general. So. It's more than just football. It's bigger than just that in another realm in that regard as well. So hopefully, something happens behind the scenes that we get to be very happy about. But as we said, I mean, well, TJ might know more than he's letting on. I don't know that. He doesn't need to tell me more than that. But that was my pick too. So that's why I'm saying, like, I would love that pick. I saw someone else, Paul, say he thinks we should hire Tyrone Nix. I'm not familiar with that name. I'll be honest. So I don't know if it's a joke or if it's a serious thing, but I have to look it up to really know the extent of that comment.
Right.
But I think that's if his name is captioned correctly, that's Captain America from YouTube. He's commented on a couple of our videos in the past when we've been streaming. So he may be using his real name this time. Simulate Sports Project said, in a town like Boone, having a coach like DJ Smith, like recruiting, is all about bringing kids from around the country. Smith is coached at multiple positions at App State and Missouri, and he will be bringing these kids in as well as being their rock, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, was he a vocal leader that you kind of aware of? I mean, he was obviously a younger guy, when you were there.
Wow, but he was vocal leader. I mean, he was kind of guy who laughed and joked a lot. He was very serious on the football field. He hit hard and he ran fast. But he has that ilk about him. He has that demonstrative personality. You're going to listen to him, deep voice, the whole bit. But he understands that he knows football, and more importantly, he knows defense, and that's what's going to win you championships.
Love it. I love it, man. I don't know if we could end any stronger than that. I mean, we're talking about App State the most because we are closest to that one, and there's a lot of speculation across the board on a number of other things. Yeah, any final thoughts? I like ending on something that we're both so passionate about on that part.
Yeah, no, listen. It's been a great season. It's been super exciting. I know we're not done yet, but we're getting down to the last couple episodes, and so. Certainly excited about this weekend and ready to talk about it on our next show. And happy that you guys have been taking this journey with us, man. This is year 2 for me, so super awesome to be a part of. And really kind of, again, this isn't a farewell. This isn't we're done kind of thing.
Better not be, DJ. Unless you're getting hired on staff or for somebody, let me know.
No, more just a reflection kind of thing, man. I mean, it's been a good season's gone way quicker than we wanted it to. But no, it's been awesome, man. And so I'm super excited about where we're headed. But thank you guys for kind of coming along on this journey with us. I know tonight was a little bit shorter of a show, but super excited about it. And also Tyrone Nix, defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. is what
Okay,
I'm
so
looking at.
that was probably a very serious
Yeah.
suggestion, which is, at that level, that's probably a guy they might have actually considered. So who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
But yeah, I do want to thank everyone as well throughout this season. And again, we are far from done. We have bowl games to cover. We will have coaching episodes specific to that, I'm pretty sure. Maybe some shorter ones where we just talk very specific, maybe not even a live one. Who knows what we'll do. But TJ and I also want to do a couple different things throughout the offseason to kind of stay around and stick around. Obviously, I'll be running the basketball show with Zach. I believe we're going to go live tomorrow night for anybody interested in that. We'll got the baseball show in the spring, but TJ has some contacts as far as some local recruits. Not all will be Sunbelt related, but again, this is to get an aspect and an understanding of how this new world is working for them, and they provide some interesting insight, whether they're at a Sunbelt school or otherwise. So we are going to try to highlight some of those guys coming up here in the future, especially during, a little bit of a slower portion of the season. So stay tuned for some of that, and definitely be checking out Thick Thighs and Large Fries, because he's still doing some grilling outside, even though it's getting colder, folks. Don't let it fool you.
Still smoking some meats.
And we appreciate that, Warren. He says it's his first year following, but he is a Troy Trojan fan. So he says, go Trojans. We will end on that note. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks to Noah for stopping by and joining the show. That was awesome. And we will see you guys after the championship game this Saturday.
Sunbelt Syndicate.
Presented by